Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I want to introduce a topic for discussion, and that is never fall in love with your truck or any vehicle for that matter. I fell victim to this once before in the past, and I learned the hard way the repercussions of falling in love with your vehicle. So with that, time for a quick story. So rewind a few years back. 29 now, so back when I was about 21, I put together a vehicle myself. I used to work on cars a lot back in the day, back in around that time, and I went on Craigslist and I found me a Camaro that needed an engine. It was a 1998 V6 Camaro 3800 V6, and it was listed for sale for $500. And it was all black, had leather interior, and it had it was listed for low miles. The guy claimed it had low miles. Went and looked at it. It ended up having a lot more miles than he claimed. But anyway, got the price squared away, $500, and I went and picked up that Camaro. And for me, it was a special time because before that black Camaro, every vehicle that I owned was multiple colors and different conditions. I never really had one vehicle that was nice and clean and all one color. This Camaro was all black, tan leather, and it needed an engine. I ended up buying an engine for it on Craigslist and putting it in. I think I paid like $500 for the engine, and I put the engine in the car, and it was great. I had a all matching car, and before that I had a 1992 Infiniti, and it was white, but it had a black fender and it had a black bumper, and it was just all these different colors, and it was just a little bit embarrassing to drive it. So I was really excited to have a clean car that was all one color. But and then also too, I put a lot of work into it. I remember being out in the winter. I was working at a trucking company, and I had a little space where I could wrench on my cars, and it was just snowing, and I would go out whenever it was inclement weather and work on my car, and I was working on it, wrenching, putting the engine in by myself in the cold, in the snow, where in the place where I was working had a slope where all the wet snow and water would come down the slope, and then the car was up on jack stands, and I would go underneath it, and I would just wrench, put the engine in, had to go underneath and put the torque converter bolts in to the flywheel, just soaked in water and freezing cold. And I had there was no heat where I was working. There was no heat. There was nowhere I can go get warmed up, but I got soaked under that car, and I had to just have my little 200,000 mile 1992 Infiniti idling the whole time. And I remember being totally soaked and shivering, and having to strip down to like nothing inside of that Infiniti just to warm back up because all my clothes were so wet. It was so cold. And long story short, it was brutal. It was an insane amount of work that went into getting that car running, and finding an engine and putting it in. It was a 3800 V6 that actually came out of a Buick, and I converted it over to a Chevy rear wheel drive. It was a lot that went into it. And after everything was done, finally having that car that was all one color and it looked clean. It was a 98 Camaro back in 2011, 2012. It wasn't too terribly old of a vehicle. And it was just, I was really proud of it. And nothing wrong with being proud of your vehicle. But after I got it running and drove it around a little bit, I started to get a little bit too attached. I remember me and Donna were arguing, and when I was working on the car, I kind of like shut her off. This is years and years ago when our relationship was really new, and I remember just shutting her off, and I think we might have even broken up for a week or so. And I remember just taking that Camaro downtown Detroit, just riding around, looking out the window, like, look at me. I'm in this Camaro. It's all the same color. Like, ah. And I put like some speakers in the back, some subwoofers, and it was just boom, 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 riding around town. And I was just so obsessed. I literally got this car running, and I took a couple pictures of it. And after a week of getting it running, I remember just thinking, like, this is the nicest car ever. And I just, for whatever reason, I was just obsessed with this car. I was obsessed with this 1998 Camaro. And the next, I got it running, and I had it for probably one weekend. And I remember I was running late for work, and I was actually staying with my Uncle Shanti. If you've been following the channel, you know who he is. I was staying with him at his house, and it was raining. And I remember just sitting there hanging out, having breakfast, and I had to go to work. And he said, "You better hurry up and go. You're going to be late." And I was like, I'm never late. And I had like 10 minutes to drive to work, and I would have to speed the whole way to get there. I get inside of the car, and I just fly to work. And I had this reputation of never being late. So I fly to work, and it starts raining harder and harder. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should slow down. I don't know. And I think I hit a puddle of water. I don't know, but I just remember just the steering wheel just said, totally lost all feeling, and the car just hydroplaned. And I just remember saying, oh shit, I can't even steer. And next thing you know, crash right into the wall. Airbags go off, blow up in my face, bouncing. It all happened in slow motion. I just bounced off the wall from the left lane all the way to the right. The whole front end of the vehicle was crushed, and it hit so hard. At the time, I was wearing glasses. I was wearing eyeglasses. The eyeglasses that I was wearing were knocked underneath the seat, and I was just blinded. And the car was just in the right-hand lane, pointed the wrong way against traffic. And some good Samaritan came and helped me out. But I was okay. I didn't get injured at all. And I just remember just suffering that loss and realizing, like, I actually just got obsessed with a car. Like, what was I thinking? Like, I fell in love with the car. Like, what a stupid thing to do. And that's when I realized, like, never fall in love with a car. And although it may seem like I love my F-150s, I really don't. They're just vehicles. At the end of the day, I don't care. If my vehicles get stolen or totaled or anything, I'd be okay. It's not that big a deal. And people have commented, or people have actually said to me in person, like, man, you must really love your trucks. Not really. They're just trucks. They're so replaceable. You could easily just get another one. And it's just not a big deal. I don't love my trucks. But with the F-250, I did kind of fall into that trap a little bit more. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that when I got this truck, I dinged the side of it pretty good here on the passenger side, right here. And I was really upset because it's been a really long time since I did anything like that. I don't think I've ever done anything like that to any of my trucks. I felt like I had a good run. And brand new truck had like maybe 1,000 miles on it at the time, and I just dinged it. But then you know what happened is I was going to pick up dinner for the old lady, and I got out of the truck, walked into the restaurant, and as I got close to the door, I turned around, looked back at the truck, and just said, damn, that truck is beautiful. And I just had that sparkle to it. Brand new truck, 1,000 miles. And I just remember thinking, that truck is beautiful. And I remember thinking, am I in love? So I would go in a restaurant, pick up my food, come back out, get in the truck, go to drive off, and crunch. Turned too soon and hit a low-hanging pole. post was sitting up about this high from the ground, and I couldn't see it from this window. And I even think I turned on the camera, and for whatever reason, I couldn't see this pole in a 360 degree camera. So thought about it, and you know, for a second there, I started to fall in love with the vehicle, with the truck. You should never fall in love with the truck. Anyway, comment below. Thank you guys for watching. I like doing these topics of discussion, and I really do enjoy the comment section, even though sometimes I don't always agree. Like, people don't always agree with the content or whatever's being said, and I think that's a good thing. It's not, you know, bad that we're having discussions about this kind of stuff, and I do appreciate all the comments, whether they agree or don't, as long as it's clean, it's not disrespectful, it's all good. So appreciate all of it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and have a great day. Goodbye.